Hello everyone, my name is Jenny and I'm your IELTS tutor. Thank you so much for watching my videos and for those who are commenting, suggesting for the topics. I really appreciate all of you, especially my viewers in India, Nepal, Saudi Arabia, and Vietnam as well. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. In this video, I'll be sharing the sample answers that I have made for this part 2 speaking topic. And if you're going to take the exam this March and April next month, year 2021, this topic might come out. So let's begin. But before we read the sample answer, let's do a brainstorming first. In this topic, you are going to talk about an object. Okay, so an object or something important that has been kept in your family for a long time. For you to get a higher score in your IELTS speaking exam, you need to do some paraphrasing. Okay, so for instance, instead of saying important, you can try to say significant. You can also say valuable. You can also say precious, right? Vital or essential. So try to paraphrase for you to get a higher score in vocabulary. Okay? Also, for a long time, you can say for quite some time, for a while. Okay? What it is, of course, you have to name the specific name of the object. So when your family had it, it would be better that you try to mention, of course, how long has your family been keeping it, because that's the topic all about. And then how your family got it and explain why it's important for your family. In this question, it would be better that you try to use discourse markers. What are discourse markers? Examples of discourse markers are firstly, secondly, finally. So it's one of the technical requirements in the IELTS speaking exam. Now, so there are 4 bullet points here, right? Now, you don't really need to answer these 4 bullet points in order and one by one. In case you forget to answer one bullet point here, don't worry. It should not affect your score because there's no rule in IELTS speaking that you have to answer all of them. These are just suggestions, okay? But if you can answer them in order, one by one, of course, it will be better, right? So it can make you answer the question spontaneously. All right, so let us begin. Please read with me and do some shadowing. Okay. Well, out of all the essential things that my family has been keeping for a long time, I think our family photo takes the cake. To tell you more about it, that family picture is displayed in our living room. It's quite big because the size is 20 by 18. Upon entering our house, we can immediately see that photo, and to be honest, I love it because we were all smiling in that picture. If my memory serves me right, we had that photo more than 6 years ago. We took it when we had a family vacation abroad. My mom, dad, and my 2 siblings were there in the photo. We took that picture in Japan and the background was really amazing. Now, let me explain more reasons why our family picture is of great significance for my family. First off, it reminds us of our holiday together. That was the first time that we went abroad and we were so over the moon during that time. We went to Fuji Mountain, and since the mountain looked so majestic, we asked a random tourist to snap a picture for us. Fortunately, she politely agreed. Last but not least, I think that photo beautifies our living room. My parents made sure to enlarge it and put it in a durable frame. I think it brings back wonderful memories to them. If given a chance, I would love to travel with my family again. I'd love to travel with my family again. Okay, so let's review the useful expressions or vocabulary that I've used here. So out of all, it's just another way among. Okay? Among is quite common. Now, this is an idiomatic expression, takes the cake. So takes the cake means something or someone that's really remarkable. For example, well, out of all the celebrities that I would love to meet someday, I think Brad Pitt takes the cake. Alright? So this is an idiom. Remember, as I've mentioned in my previous videos, you have to use idiomatic expressions so that you can get band 7 and 9. Because if you use idioms, meaning, your English level is like that of a native, right? So this is an idiom which means remarkable. Now, you have to give more details about the main topic, so you can use this expression to tell you more about it. Okay? And then what else? Yeah. If my memory serves me right. If you're talking about the past, use this expression. If my memory serves me right. You can also say, as far as I can recall. As far as I can remember. Even if you clearly remember what happened in the past, there's nothing wrong if you use this expression. Okay? Why? After all, the IELTS examiner will not verify it. They will not ask you, or he or she will not ask you, are you sure that you can't really remember it? No, they will not do that, right? You just want to use these expressions to get a good score in vocabulary. Okay? Now, what else? So try to use this. Now let me explain more reasons. So instead of saying very important, you can say is of great significance. Alright, so this is a useful expression. Instead of saying firstly, I recommend you try to say first off. Okay? So try to use complex words. Instead of saying beautiful, you can use majestic. We ask a random tourist, so this is a collocation, to snap a picture for us. So instead of writing or saying, to get a picture for us, you can say to snap. I also recommend that you try to use adverbs. Fortunately, adverbs make your answers stronger. It makes your opinion stronger. Instead of saying lastly or finally, try to say last but not least. And then instead of saying it makes our living room beautiful, you can say it beautifies our living room. Right? So the ability to show different kinds of words can give you a good score in IELTS. Okay? Instead of saying if I have a chance, you can say if given a chance. Alright? So I hope that the expressions would be useful to you. Now, remember that fluency is the most important in IELTS. Okay? Even if you use complex words, even if you use idiomatic expressions, but then you have a lot of hesitations, you have a lot of pauses, it will reduce your score. So focus on fluency. Okay? Now, let's move on to part 3. This is the first question. Please do some shadowing. What things do families keep for a long time? Well, I believe there are various things that families keep for a long time, and I think one of them is family pictures. Families usually preserve pictures of their children. However, nowadays it's very rare since there is digital photography. Aside from that, gifts from other people, such as jewelries or valuable objects, are kept by families. In my family, my father is still keeping our old guitar that he got in the 1980s. I think that it varies. So in this question, you are going to give example of things that families keep. So it really varies, right? So there are some families that they keep valuable objects, and that's quite common. Like jewelries, right? In my family, this is true. My father is still keeping our old guitar. So try to give at least 2 to 3 examples here. Okay? Now let us continue. By the way, this is part 3, so you have to give at least 3 to 4 sentences. Okay? Don't give 2 sentences only or 1 sentence. It's a no-no. You will get a low score. Now let's continue to the next question. What's the difference between things valued by people in the past and today? Some of my students struggle in this question. They don't have ideas for this. So I hope that this sample answer that I've made would be useful for you. So please read with me. I guess people in the past value simple but more meaningful things. They usually value activities that will build memories, like having a picnic or traveling. Nowadays, some people give more importance on tangible things. And I think it's because of materialism. Some people are fond of branded products like clothes or shoes or the latest cell phone brand. So instead of saying some people like, you can say they're fond of. Okay? By the way, tangible. Tangible is an adjective, which means something that can be touched. Okay? The opposite is intangible. Okay, so intangible things are basically ideas like love, relationship, good health. Those are intangible. Obviously, you cannot touch them. Okay, so there. I've given two ideas. So in the past, since it's asking you about the past and today, talk about the past first. Simple but more meaningful things. But nowadays, people value material things. Okay? By the way, there is no right or wrong answer in IELTS. Any answer is fine as long as it makes sense. Now let's move on to another question. What kinds of things are kept in museums? Well, I think it depends on what kind of museum it is. If it's a traditional museum, they usually keep historical objects or artifacts. They also display old weapons or tools that were used several decades ago. However, these days we also have modern museums, such as dinosaur museum or science museums, and they usually display various types of animals or plants that look so realistic. Okay? So, commonly we have traditional museums and they display historical objects or artifacts. Okay? Old weapons or tools, but we now have modern museums. Okay? Now let us continue the last question. What's the influence of technology on museums? I think that technology is very influential on museums because robbery in museums has been reduced. People can't easily steal some valuable artifacts because museums use security cameras or CCTVs. Technology is also beneficial in the restoration of ancient objects because it preserves the artifacts in a realistic way. So, what is the influence? You can paraphrase this. It's very influential, right? So, try to give details. How? How is it that it's influential? Because robbery has been reduced, right? Security camera or CCTV. It's technology, right? And then what else? In the restoration of ancient objects. We all know that ancient objects should be restored, should be preserved. And technology is very helpful for that because they need to maintain, the right temperature, right? The right wind. So you can give at least 2 or 3 ideas in part 3. Okay? So anyways, that would be all. If you have any suggestion, feel free to comment below. Thank you so much. I hope you learned something for today. Thank you. Bye.